Everybody, it's Money Chronicles live at Wealth Management Edge 2025. I'm Johnny Sandquist.
And I'm Torie Happe.
Dr. Joshua Wilson, founder of NeuBeFi, is our guest.
Thank you for having me today, Johnny.
Man, excited to chat with you here.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. So we're going to, I feel like, get all the behavioral finance-y type of things going on and like understand the emotional connection of things with you. So that's going to be fun. But before we get into any kind of businessy talk, take us back, the life story of like why you are here, right? Like what moment in your life made you be like, I got to work in wealth management?
I don't think that there was a moment that I wanted wealth management, more like a moment I wanted a job. So
relatable, yeah.
Yeah, so I majored in religious studies. And so at the end of the day, I can pray for your money if necessary.
Spiritual guidance.
So majored in religious studies and did a year of missions afterwards. And at that point, I had to go into the real world and was able to get a job just in a call center with a temp agency, and then eventually was able to get licensed and that sort of thing. I got licensed in 2007, so that was the best time.
I was going to say, you picked a really great time for that.
Yes, absolutely.
We kind of all came of age at exactly the right time.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole generation.
We all have PTSD.
So getting into the industry there was getting a job. I didn't know a stock from a bond when I studied for the 7, so I really came up from absolutely nothing. First getting into it, I don't know anything, so I just do what I'm told. I say, I know what I know, which is I work really hard. I'm a farm kid from rural Alabama, and so I know how to work hard. So I'll do that. I'll apply hard work to this, and then I'll try to prove I'm smart enough. I'll get the designations, and I'll learn all the pitches, and I'll learn all the things that I'm told to do, right? And so I began to do that, and I kind of was grinding it out for a few years, and books growing, and I'm doing all right. And then someone walked into a meeting, and he says, we Googled you, and we saw this graduation speech you gave at Brown University, and we know we want to work with you. We just have a few questions.
Right.
And I was, oh, yeah, okay. And then I would notice a few other people coming in the meetings, and the meeting went really well. And at the end, they would say, we Googled you before. We saw this. I'm like, okay, I've been doing all this work to try to, prove myself, be the smartest guy, and be the most qualified guy, just be better. That better trap. We're always trying to be somebody.
Yeah.
And so that's really got me obsessed with the science of connection. People are connecting before. And then the market was also changing at this point where people weren't going to advisors for the information. They were wanting to get the information first, decide on you. So that's really where the turn in my career happened, where I began to think, okay, how do I engineer this connection before people ever meet me? And long story short, I grew that firm, again, have a lot of success and began to experiment with this. I ended up, very fast start there in Forbes multiple years in a row, that sort of thing. Ended up selling that firm to take over another firm that was distressed. I took over the CEO, did the same thing there, got it turned around and then sold it. And then at that point, I was like, okay, I'm focusing on this. Like, this is what I'm good at. This is what I love. And so I began to work with advisors, which is what's led me to NeuBeFi. At first it was just working with advisors is what they would ask me to do because I had asks lined up afterwards. And then NeuBeFi is, okay, I've got to focus because this is what I'm best at, and I'm being asked to do things that I'm adequate at. So yeah, that's really what led to it, was just that instance where someone showed me that they were connecting with me, and can I engineer that? Can I create a strategy to help people discover what is magnetic about them? How do we tell that? So everyone says tell a story, to how and about what and to whom.
Yeah. I think our industry is really good at saying, like, we need to tell the stories. We don't show people how to do that. Right. And we also are like, we're very, like, the AI is thrown around a lot in our industry now, right? So I think it's a very big buzzword for the last 18 months. But that human connection is still very real. So, like, how do you keep that, tell your story, put it out there to the world that they connect with online first, because that's going to be their first interpretation of you. But then when they get you, when you're in office, like, how do you truly connect with someone? It's really important because this is still a very, like, focused in-person industry. Absolutely. And we still need to keep that human connection, even though we're, like, running towards more technology.
Yeah, on that point though, like as AI increases, you guys have probably seen all the new Google AI videos you can make that are almost like indistinguishable from real life. And it seems like the human connection, the in-person element is actually going to become more important because of all the tech advances. Like you're going to have such a harder time trusting what you're seeing online with your eyes, that getting that actual like hand in time is going to become even more critical for advisors to be good at.
I would agree. And I think part of this is brain science. As we continue to add more noise, because every time you hear that AI is going to make content easier and make this easier, every time it makes something easier, what I hear is more of it. which means more noise. So it's scaling noise. When we scale noise, how does the brain respond when it's already overstimulated?
And I think it adds extra skepticism to people because we don't know what's real and what's not, right? I can plug into ChatGPT a photo of my dog and say, turn it into a real human. So like, how do you...
I've done that too.
Several times. I have many photos of my dog as a human, which is really sad.
New homework assignment?
Yeah, you're be like, okay, sure, that looks so real, but like we're bringing more skepticism into the world because we don't know what's real and what's not.
Right.
So I think that brain chemistry too is like everyone's going to tiptoe. They're going to do more research because they're like, are you actually who you say you are?
Yes, that and your filters, right? The more information you have, the more it's going to take to actually stimulate your interest, because there's just more of it. And so you just rise over what it takes to even spark your attention. And you expect your attention to be sparked sooner than ever. So you can't wait to show your humanity. And a lot of advisors do this. They're extremely marketable. They're extremely interested. And when they're getting to know people on a one-on-one basis, it comes through. It's obvious because we have time. For 30 minutes, we're going to have fun. Yeah. But if I'm expecting like the modern client to get to know you before, to decide if you're kind of my kind of gal before I actually meet with you, which is the way the modern client does. The modern client wants to build a relationship with you before they invest their face-to-face. They want that, but they want to know who you are first. And if we're waiting, it takes me 36 minutes to get to that good stuff about you. Yeah. I never got to the good stuff about you. I moved on because my filters are so high.
Yeah. One of the questions that we love on Money Chronicles is, what is your biggest money mistake you've made and what did you learn from it? Because I think this is a very, like you said, that brain chemistry really starts to kick in when there's money involved and you kind of fumble it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd say I'll put this related to trading. So I did the Chartered Market Technician designation, which is charting, technical analysis. And at the same time, I was also working with TD Ameritrade. And I started as an advisor and worked into several positions. Eventually, I was working for the Thinkorswim folks and options trading and that sort of thing. So I learned to trade pretty well. And so I was trading a lot. And then I would get busy. And so my trading would be left. Because I could trade and I was able to manage my own money, I was a terrible money manager because I only did well when I actually paid attention to it. And so much of the time I should have been sitting in CFs or such instead of sitting in cash and then doing, because my short term, 20 to 40 day trades is what I did with options. As long as I was doing it, I did fine most of the time. Or until I just suddenly was like, okay, I'm behind, I need to do this. And then I rush something and then I actually lose. And so I'm like, okay, I didn't take my own advice. 90% of my money should have just stayed invested, and 10% I should have left in my active trader account.
I think we're all very good at giving advice, but I think most of us are not very good at receiving or taking the advice that we give others.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love giving my son, you do as I say, not as I do.
Absolutely. It's much. Just take the advice. Just take it. Please. Yeah. All right, Joshua, last question for you. We're at Edge. Yeah. What gives you your edge?
What gives me my edge in business?
Business, life, where do you draw your energy and your kind of source from?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me is understanding that I'm just a microscopic bit in this, and my purpose is so much bigger than behavioral finance or money or any of those things. Is I don't derive my purpose from the money. I derive my purpose from Christ. And that's probably my edge, because I look at it and I say, hey, at the end of the day, I can forget all of this. I can be forgotten. I don't really matter, but except the impact I have on others. Yeah. If I can have an impact on others in the body of Christ, I look at wherever I'm doing as I hope it's just one little glimmer of, it's a reflection of Christ. It's just a teeny tiny little bit I didn't earn it. I don't deserve it. I'm not that great of a guy, but if I can be a little bit more like him and show that to the world, then that's really what grounds me. Because at the end of the day, all the accolades or any of the things you do is going to pass away, and there is a greater purpose in life, and that's where my foundation is.
Well, thank you so much. I love hearing your passion, your purpose. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. Thanks. Great having me.